Welcome to Crosstalk Table. This is Daniel.
Hey, this is Daniel, yeah, and we've got Kyle over here. Crosstalk table, we're ready to get started. We got an excellent show for everyone today. I hope that everyone enjoyed the part one and part two of episode 5. It took some doing. It took a little bit of work, but I felt it came out excellent. I hope that everyone else agrees, and you can show that you agree by hitting that thumbs up. All right, so what do we got in store for the people today?
So I know that you had some topics to talk about, and then all the topics I had to talk about was I got convicted, and then I got this timing issue recently. So it pops up, I feel like, in the same conviction and things that the Lord has brought to my attention.
Okay, interesting. Very cloaked in mystery. I can't wait to figure out what it is you're talking about. I wanted to talk about flat Earth, believe it or not, but not necessarily about flat Earth. It's about this pastor that I esteem very much. I've been following this guy on YouTube for a few years now, and I don't follow too many people on YouTube. I gotta vet them first. I gotta see what they're talking about. I verify what they're saying, and if that happens enough times where I can say with certainty, yeah, this guy is right. He knows what he's talking about. Then I'll follow. And I don't follow too many people, but I follow this guy. This guy is he's like one of my go-to guys. And as a matter of fact, I made at least one major decision based off of one of his studies. And man, I just can't believe that this guy. His name is Mike Winger, Pastor Mike Winger. Love you. If you get a chance to see this, I think you do amazing work. And I was really, really shocked by this video that Mike Winger put out about flat Earth. So I want to discuss a little bit about that. On the onset, I just want to say I am not a proponent of flat Earth. I am not a flat Earth apologist. I don't think that the Bible teaches that the Earth is any kind of shape, which is what I took issue with the video. And I did want to make mention about some stuff that we talked about in the other video, mainly the point that you were saying about Aaron's staff, that it turned into a snake, right, by the will and the power of God. But Pharaoh's magicians or whatever they were, they also did it. And what I didn't understand at the time, that I figured out while I was doing the editing, because when I'm editing, I'm watching it 4 or 5 times, right? I'm really getting
Yeah,
familiar
you're
with the
saying it
video.
again. You're like, what's he saying?
And I'm like, oh, I understand the point you were saying. You're saying that the fact that Pharaoh's magicians recreated the work of God means that there is a way that people who follow, let's say, evil things, they can manifest certain things. And that's
Yep.
the proof that you can prove it with that verse. That's what you were saying, right?
Yep. Yep. Which gets very deep, and a lot of people, it's hard for people to accept. But you're very in the word and you understand, you're very in tune. And once you start, like you said, looking at it that way, it pops out.
Yeah, after I heard you saying that a few times, I was like, oh, okay, I get what he's saying. But then I had to stop and think, was it Pharaoh's magicians or sorcerers, whatever they were, did they do it with their own power, or is that something that God allowed?
God allowed.
I guess it's always something that God allowed, right?
Yeah.
Even if it was them appealing to some evil entity,
Hmm.
God still allowed it to happen.
He still allowed them to live, to have the breath, to wake up that day, knowing what was going to ultimately happen that day. He knows what's going to happen. And it's crazy because you said that Jesus said that it was greater for the people in this one city that was in the Old Testament than it was for the people that were in this New Testament that were able to know
Oh
who
yeah.
who he was.
All right. I just asked ChatGPT. Okay, it says you're thinking about the woe statements of Jesus. It says, "Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Bethsaida! For if the mighty works which were done in you had been done in Tyre or Sidon, they would have repented long ago in sackcloth and ashes. But I say to you, it will be more tolerable for Tyre and Sidon in the day of judgment than for you, and you, Capernaum. who are exalted to heaven will be brought down to Hades. For if the mighty works which were done in you had been done in Sodom, it would have remained until this day. But I say to you that it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom in the day of judgment than for you. And you were saying that that verse has something to do with the topic you wanted to bring up?
Not with the topic that I wanted to bring up, but the way that I wasn't able to just bring that up to recite has to do with what I'm gonna bring up.
All right, well, we
But
gotta
with that-
unpack this
But this, what we're talking about, had to do with what you were
With the
talking about
snake?
earlier,
with the snake.
or however we brought it up earlier.
Well, let's go back to the snake, man. Maybe we'll pick it up on the way back. If we go back to the snakes, I was just saying that okay, yeah, you could use that verse to justify or to support the idea that there could be evil entities at work doing things right now to inanimate objects, which is what your point was, right? Can a thing be possessed?
Yes.
I'm still not sure if a thing can be possessed or not. I do see in this verse that an agent of evil can do something, can manipulate something in a way that seems that only God should be able to do, right? Only God should be able to turn a staff into a snake, but Pharaoh's guys did it. Right? Okay, so yeah, I could see some crazy thing somewhere that it's unbelievable, and it could be an agent of evil, which isn't that the power of the Antichrist? That he's going to deceive even the elect? Because the Antichrist, an agent of evil, is going to do all these amazing signs and wonders, and even God's people are going to be deceived.
I'm strongly having a just a blank in my mind if I can remember. Did I bring up the scenario with famous rapper 2 Chainz?
No, we didn't talk about 2 Chainz.
Okay, this is the strongest argument to that. Not the strongest argument, my strongest point to that, right?
All right, I want to hear about 2 Chainz.
2 Chainz, look it up, everybody. Most expensive stuff. It might say a different word, but most expensive stuff. It's a show that 2 Chainz has had. And look up the one where it's a $23,000 clone cat. You can clone any animal you want with this company. This company will clone your animal, exact genes, exact hair pattern, exact everything as your cat. And you keep on having the same cat or same animal, not even cat, any animal, as they were saying. Just give them the DNA stuff and they're going to clone it. So, with that being said, what happens when you got a whole bunch of clones and not real humans and then possess that? If not, think of it like this. Jesus rebuked these spirits that were in this one person, and they went into the pigs, and the pigs went and killed themselves. Long story short, evil spirits went flying into pigs that were already made by man, and then
Hold on.
or not made by man, already
Okay.
made by God. The pigs were already made by God.
All right, they already existed. They were there. Okay.
And they were there. They already existed. They were born of another pig already. What? Is all of a sudden a clone pig not allowed to have a evil spirit casted into it or denounced and was roaming into the pig?
Wait, hold on. Why? How are you? Where are you getting this? That a cloned animal can't be possessed? Where's that coming from?
I feel like these spirits can fly into anything that they want to fly into. And I feel like in the same way that that's able to happen, it can fly into something that's not alive.
Yeah, an
An
inanimate item. It could fly into
object.
a chair. It could fly into a table.
Yeah, and cause things to happen.
Okay, but where? Wait a minute. Where
Like
are the
Annabelle
cloned?
doll.
Where are the cloned pigs coming from? I'm not getting the.
The cloned part is the fact that the government has the ability to recreate something right now man-made. And more really where I'm getting to, if they can clone animals, why can't they clone humans?
Wait a minute. I just don't understand. I don't get where. I understand evil spirit possessing a living thing. I understand what you're saying, that maybe it's possible an evil spirit can possess an inanimate object. Where are the clones coming from? I'm not getting the clones.
The clones are uh another created thing.
Yeah, but you're viewing the clones as different from the living thing and the inanimate object. You're putting them in a third category, right? It's you're saying there's a natural living thing or a God-made living thing, and then you're saying there's a man-made living thing. Is that what you're saying?
More so like the way that they allowed the animal to live was not the way that the Lord would have an animal come to existence. Like
Okay.
they're playing with species. Like in the same context, it's like taking the flying fish and you have a snake and you have a bird. And birds, fossils don't stay forever. And fish have eggs, birds have eggs, snakes have eggs. Why couldn't there be a dragon flying around in the sky?
Do you do this a lot?
No, I'm just saying, like I could just
No, you do this all the time. Like we started over here, and now we're with fish and dragons. It's like, wait a minute, what happened to the clones? What happened to the spirits? And again, it's because of the editing, right? Because I'm doing the editing, and then all of a sudden, you're in like somewhere else. And I'm thinking, I gotta edit this, and we went from a clone to a dragon. But there is a genius in what you're doing sometimes. Like I don't get it in the moment, and I'm thinking, okay, when I'm editing this, after I watch it 4 or 5 times, it'll probably click, and I'll be like, oh, this guy's a genius. This guy's onto something. I'm just not seeing it now. Okay, we gotta start at square one. What are we talking? What are we talking about?
We're talking about how the enemy can create things or kind of play with God's creation and make it his own. And I feel like those things could go against God's creation. I feel like the things that the enemy can create that are unfamiliar to the regular human that's not biblically in tuned will not see the enemy coming because it will be in disguise of something that's so blatantly obvious, but it's not with it's not their veil hasn't been uncovered to understand the enemy that's in front of them.
Is what you're saying that God has his own creations and then the enemy now has his own creation?
Exactly.
All right. Okay.
Pow. That's
My
a good one.
my only rebuttal to that is only God can bring life.
Yes.
Right? So even if it's some mad scientist somewhere creating an evil pig or something like that, it's still God who gives the spark of life, right?
Mhm.
Only God can do life, can give life. So ultimately, they're all God's creatures. They're all His creation. Just I don't know, because you could get a pit bull, a real pit bull, not a cloned one, natural pit bull, and it could be the nicest dog you've ever had, or you can train it to be a killing machine, right? Senseless, just you abuse it or whatever, and it'll just attack anything.
And it can meet God.
And it can what?
It can meet God. You can
Meet?
introduce it to God and it'll change and be completely nice.
Kyle.
Is that your point?
Man, have you no?
Oh dang it.
I'm not gonna bring
Way off.
I'm not gonna bring a pit bull to Jesus.
I would try.
I don't doubt
I
that.
preach the gospel
I
to
don't
all
doubt that.
animals, all living creatures.
I don't doubt that at all. I just don't think that that's the why Christ died on the cross. I don't think animals have sin,
I agree.
right?
I agree.
Boy, talk about opening cans of worms. Right now, we gotta
Wait,
figure.
could they?
I don't
Smart
think so.
animals that know right from wrong, the ones that can sit here and choose words, the ones
Yeah.
that get depressed after they know too much.
No, we're the only creatures that bear the image of God. Right?
Okay.
It's the sin of Adam. Now, if Adam had had a dog and the dog had a rule that it had to stick to, then maybe, right? It's the sin of Adam. It's something that's just for humans. But I was just saying, you opened up a whole new can of worms. So, can animals sin? And we got to talk about that. Well, if animals can sin, then they need a redeemer. Jesus, or God came in the form of Jesus, the God man, to be like us, to die for our sins. if animals did sin, it would require a creature like them, a dog Jesus, quote unquote,
I don't
or a
know.
cricket
I
Jesus.
don't know. Can I test that? Because biblically it said to preach the gospel or the word to all living creatures, to all living things. I'm pretty sure to all things, to all creation. Pretty sure we can look it up. And what I want to do is, if we have somebody out there with an animal that is super intelligent to the owner's words, and the dog or the cat or the animal can use one of those types of things where they put their paws and answer questions. If you could bring me over to your house and allow me to spend some time with your animal and ask it, and give it Jesus Christ and give it some time to understand Christ, will it be able to then have a spiritual understanding and have its own response?
ChatGPT brings me to Romans 5:12. It says, "Sin entered the world through one man." Right, so death was introduced,
Yep.
but it tells me that the verse that you were referring to, that's Matthew 16:15, where it does say, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature." And if you look back at the Greek, it really means to all creation. Does that mean we got to go preach to the rocks? Because they're created, the trees.
No, I feel like that means when we're spending our time in our quiet place, and there's people from all over the years that would sometimes their quiet place would be by the outhouse or would be by some type of natural forest. They would go to a forest preserve just to get in tune. They would go to a high mountain to reenact something like Sermon on the Mount, or they would go into a high place because they live in the ability to be in a high place. They would go to set areas in a distance just to try to connect with nature and then read the word. I feel like that's what that's saying is, don't just read the word and stay to yourself, but then to speak out loud with your voice, because your voice is something that the Lord wants you to use. So to use your voice and to praise the Lord while you read out loud when it's given opportunity.
As you were speaking, I remembered a verse that has, for a long time, it confused me in Romans. Let me see where it is. It's Romans 8:19 through 22. It's in there somewhere. For the earnest expectation of the creation eagerly awaits the revealing of the sons of God. For the creation was subjected to futility, not willingly, but because of him who subjected it in hope. Because the creation itself will also be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groans and labors in birth pangs until now. That last part, the whole creation groans and it's expecting. And I was like, what? Why is the creation? Where are the mountains and the trees? And oh, it's because when Adam fell, it corrupted all creation.
Mm-hmm.
And all of creation is waiting for the day of redemption because it's not a moral agent. It can't decide right or wrong. A tree can't do something right or wrong, right? We can. We have corrupted the world, right? When Adam fell. So it's the sin of Adam. But I've never applied it to animals. I've never applied it to, my pet lizard upstairs. But it is suffering because it does get hungry. It does get thirsty. It will die.
I was gonna say, have you ever heard of the phrase "hug a tree"? Yeah.
Yeah, I've
So
heard.
I'm
I've
not,
never done it.
but check this out, ready? I'm about to go so deep into this, right? So my brother, he just got back from New York, and he went to the Niagara Falls. And in the United States, there's this riverway going to the Niagara Falls, and what it's called is the Grand Canyon of the North. And you know, it just shows God, in all ways. God being as wonderful as he is, look up the things of the Niagara Falls, and as of recently, people are telling me things that I didn't understand through the Bible study. I can't wait to get into, but there's a Northern Grand Canyon. My bad. So many people didn't know that, and my brother went to this Northern Grand Canyon. It's like 68 miles of Grand Canyon, but in the north. So it's not all yellow and orange, but it's like trees and stuff like that. And my mom noticed something, and it was a funny context that I'm about to bring into. Is that you know how are the trees coming out of the side of the mountain and still growing straight up, looking for God? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like they didn't go out wide just to catch it right there, but no, they go out and they go up. They always go up. They're growing up, reaching for God,
Hmm.
waiting for God. You know what I'm saying? And there's a different type of allowance with the animals or with the nature that then grows more, grows happy, grows better, grows longer, survives quick, stronger with just simple prayers, or the Lord's voice coming around, or
Well, not to take away from what your mom was saying, but they're just following the light. Like
oh yeah,
even
definitely.
my plant that's out here, the one that I move, it will because I had been moving around so much. It was growing one way because that's the way that was facing the sun, and then I put it the other way, and it starts to
Goes going to
yeah
the other way.
going the other way. All right, how about this? Let's because we're still talking about the previous video with Aaron's staff and all of that. How about we get started on the episode on this one on
Alrighty.
today's? Okay,
Alrighty.
well, everyone, again, welcome to Crosstalk Table. We're gonna get started.
Boom.
Cross up.
All right, let's go with you. I'm just too curious to know what in the world you want to talk about. You've been so mysterious with it. What are you talking about?
Oh, the Lord had convicted me because I um had gotten too off track with the Lord. I'm doing a Bible study right now, a men's Bible study, and I use these types of laminations. And these laminations have highlighted verses that is usually around the topic that I'm talking about. And people could look at it, can, do whatever with it, stuff like that. I let some people, take it home with them if they want
That's
to
very
take
nice.
it
Let me
home.
take a look at
Yeah,
that.
take a look at it.
And laminated and everything.
You know, and I was having a hiccup with that, even to my own understanding. I'd noticed it when it was happening, but not trying to go too far into it. So I tried to be nice, noticing I was still not being uh in right standing with the Lord, as He's telling me right now in my body that I have to adjust. I have to accept is that I was saying things in too many words to another believer of a church I would go to, and that I didn't get invited to said studies. And I was like, wow, how did I not get invited to these studies? And in my head, I was like, wow, I'm gonna bring it up to him. Like, why didn't you invite me or something like that? You haven't thought about me, this or that. And instead of thinking that he didn't have stuff going on, you know what I'm saying? But so I brought things to his attention in way too many words, and way too many things, and the Lord convicted me then. Yet I wanted to keep talking. For what? Pride, I would say. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt that the church shouldn't do things the way that they were allowing me to see, I guess. Like if they would say certain things to me, but then not live it. I don't know. So, like I said, I don't want to say too many things to degrade them, but I was just, you know, bringing up some things to him, and pretty much got convicted that I was just saying too many words, as I'm saying now, which I, like I said, I was try to fix it up. And then going to this verse, I wanted to talk about it, right? So as I was,
Give me a second. Let me try to catch up to what you're saying. You became aware that the church was doing a Bible study and you were not invited to the Bible study. Is that right?
yep,
Okay, that happened. And you started your own Bible study and you invited someone and they told you about this other study you were not invited to.
no,
Okay, all
not
right.
at all, no. These people have never came to my Bible studies, even
Oh,
though
all right. So,
I've invited them and they haven't came.
okay, so they didn't tell you at your Bible study, but in another way,
No, not at my Bible
no,
study
yeah,
at
but
all.
in another way, you became aware that there's a Bible study going on that you were not invited to.
Yeah, it's just
Somebody told you
yeah.
something, right?
No, I know they got Bible studies going on. Like, why haven't they let me know about no Bible studies? So I looked it up at 10:51 and found that out. I screenshot it and sent it to this guy that I know that goes to that church. That's an elder in that church that I talked to, and that was, I've been in the tables with and stuff like that, and I've been invited to that same Bible study before at that same church. It's the only way I ended up going to the Bible study because I got invited by the church to go to the Bible study. And then yeah, so when I brought these things up, they ended up saying, we don't invite people to Bible studies. And just saying things that, the responses that I was getting were more so like I didn't take into consideration his predicaments in life, which I can consider I did not. You know what I'm saying? Even though he didn't tell me that, which I wish he would have. It was just the way that he phrased things is telling me that, he doesn't have time to be telling me anything. And the church doesn't have a reason to tell me nothing about anything they have going on.
All right, so you're talking to this guy and you find out they're having a Bible study and you ask him, "Hey, why didn't you invite me?" And he says that it's basically not their job to invite you, right?
Yeah.
Like, so, which may be true. I'm guessing that the word gets around because they probably make an announcement at church. Hey, we got Bible study going on at this time or something like that.
Yeah.
Did he say anything like that?
Yeah. He said, but he didn't say the time. And went to the services as I went to a couple services as of recently, and I could also watch the services online, so I don't have to show up there to know what's happening as well. And for the past month, they haven't been talking about those things in the morning. They've been more concerned with baptisms and people graduating through other things or other programs they have going on with these Halloween events and these truck or treats and this and that and other things, but nothing to do with this Bible study.
It's not just you. There may be a bunch of other people who are unaware of it, right? Because the church hasn't done its
That's
job.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like
Okay.
I'm taking that into consideration that I didn't think of these
All right.
things
Because
as
at
I said
first,
it to him.
oh, and you're saying you didn't think about that because I was.
Yeah, like
So you
as I'm typing, I'm like, dang, like, wait a second, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's the conviction that you felt.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So you
and
felt convicted. I guess almost because you were like arguing with this guy.
not necessarily arguing, venting.
Well, venting
Venting isn't
and
good.
somehow blaming,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
just
somehow
blame.
blaming and
Yeah,
no, venting is fine. Nothing wrong with venting. Well, I guess it's how you phrase it. A fool gives full vent to his anger. So if
hmm
you're angry and you vent all that anger to the person you're angry at, then that's a problem.
it's not the person I'm angry at. I'm angry if I'm angry with a person. I'm angry at the church itself because I did message the pastor asking him why he hasn't, said anything or sent me any emails, and he hasn't responded to me. But this guy has. So he's the only person within the church that has responded other than this other guy. that had just messaged me back that same day.
No,
So I
because
finally got a message from somebody within that church that messaged me back. I had messaged other people within this time about other stuff, not about the Bible study, and none of them have responded. So the only person that would respond to me within that church is this one dude. The only person I can address that would
okay.
respond.
Well, because what I was saying about the venting is sometimes when I'm upset, I don't know, my wife or life or whatever. Um, Sometimes I'll call a friend and I just say, "Hey, I got to vent," and I'll just vent. I'm angry about this. I'm upset about that. This isn't fair. Whatever. And then I feel better because I let it out, and then I can go on with my life and deal with whatever the problem is. So I don't think there's anything wrong with venting. But if, like, let's say my wife makes me angry, and then I let out all that anger on her, that's what the Bible's talking about, that a fool will give full vent to his anger. So yeah, that part is wrong. Right. So you are more upset at the organization, at the church.
At the organization, yes.
But you felt slighted. You felt like it was personal, like it was against you, or at least
And I felt
that's
like it was personal because within the same people that orchestrate information going out, I've been taken off group me chats, and I have been like, I tried to get involved with helping stuff on the electronical side of things, and I would give them my phone number and stuff, and there would be like, like 15 people or 20 people that wanted to do it, and then I wouldn't ever get a message, but they were supposed to be interviewing through people or stuff like that, like, and like other times where I can notice like I'm not invited to certain things, but other people are. You know what I'm saying? So
but
they've shown these things before multiple times.
you still feel slighted. You still feel like it's personal.
On the letting informing me to do with events and stuff like that, not feeling like it's towards this person. This
No, it's
person
not
has nothing to do with
towards
it.
you. Do you feel like it's towards you?
The
Like they just
church,
don't want you there.
the church specifically, I feel like yeah, it singled me out because
Okay.
other people. Because when I got kicked out the group meet, it was weird. Like we were like, oh, go on the group meet for this or that. So I type in, I try to get on there, and I realized out of everybody that's sitting right there, I'm the only person that can't get in. And I was like, what the heck just happened?
Mhm.
Like, wow, that's funny. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah, so it could be the church, it could be the people in charge of the group,
mhm.
and you feel that it's personal, that it's against you.
Because there's been more than one, it's been more than one time where something like this has happened.
And you were venting or
Get
you were
involved.
taking it out on the one person who has replied to you.
Yeah, just
Well,
bringing it up.
I can understand why you would feel conviction, right? Because nobody's basically nobody cares, right?
And
And,
I'm not thinking of his time neither. Like
no,
why he has what he has going on. Like he doesn't have time to be letting me know these things neither.
yeah, and then the only guy who does respond, and
Yeah,
then you gotta,
I'm gonna say this to him exactly
yeah,
in
and then you
such
take it out
long
on him.
conversation. And he's older. He's 86.
And how did he react to all of it?
The way that he responded was saying like, "Oh, you got to take into consideration these things that I'm not taking into consideration."
And you're texting all of this?
Yeah, it was over text.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. You got an 86-year-old guy texting back and forth. That's pretty impressive. This guy is up to modern times.
Yeah, he's a very, very. I'm blessed to have him, in my life, and he was, he lets me know. He gives me wisdom all the time. So that's why I think for him. His name is Ed Talbot. Very, very good guy. Very strong in the faith.
Talbot. Shout out to Mr. Talbot. Maybe you watch YouTube. You seem to be up to date on all the technology nowadays. Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Okay. And you felt convicted by that.
Yeah, I definitely felt convicted. Well, I got convicted then. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, I got to bring this up. This is perfect for this because in too many words, saying too many things and this and that. And then it ended up becoming even more perfect the way that the Lord had me not being able to bring up what I wanted to talk about on this specific verse that I'm going to bring up because twice within the same Bible study, once in the beginning and then once again towards the end, brother Jared of mine asked me a question about which king or which city the name was. And when he asked me, I couldn't give it to him. Yet his point wasn't the person or the city, it was the message that he was trying to get across. Yet I was too focused on that. So I started getting into my book, trying to look for the name and not paying attention to the real message that he was trying to tell me. Showing a hiccup again within my understanding or my abilities within Christ, especially being into a specific position. Once again, I've noticed at that point in time, right then and there, on his second one, this was after, this was towards the end, everything made sense why I wasn't able to say what I wanted to say for this verse. But what also hit me was the times here that I wasn't able to bring something up, or I said something, or I said something in the wrong way, especially to do with the last video, the Lazarus person, that how I misinterpreted the whatchamacallit, who was in said position, or however it was happening, to do with my dyslexia and my, stuff like that. Now, like I said, I'm not gonna cast blame on it. But what I do know is there's things that I know in the Bible. I could tell you this straight up, and I know the Lord knows this. I've read the whole Bible, but I'm dyslexic. I can't recite. I have horrible memory, like we said in the beginning of this video. I can't even remember 4 minutes of something that we just were talking about. Does that make me completely unqualified, is what I'm trying to say. And what the Lord has been putting in my life is that this whole message right here was that I'm gonna talk about, which is James chapter 3, verse 1 and 2.
All right, James 3.
Yep, James 3.
All right, hit it.
So what the Lord had put on me was to have a Bible study about being perfect and stuff like that, and perfectness. But this was because of a bit of what our last Bible study was about, and we had a conversation about being perfect. So we were like, okay, we don't want to talk about it. The Lord had put it on me, especially within that moment. So all the other verses that I came across were all, man, so quick, so very understanding, so very loving. But this verse, James 3, once I got to that, it like a ton of bricks, because like I said, while I was texting, this had happened.
Yeah, we'll read it though, because I think we are all getting lost since we don't know the context.
My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is perfect man, same as a perfect man, and able to bridle the whole body. A person that is really good at speaking the message, or a teacher that's good at preaching the message, shouldn't cause confusion within the word.
Mhm.
And that's what I do. That's all I am, is I'm just confusing to understand. Nobody could understand me. You know what I'm saying? So does that make me completely unqualified? This all hit me. And I was like, wow. On this verse, I couldn't talk to him. I couldn't talk to my Bible study people about what this meant for the day, that for what happened to me today. And that's how the Lord had tried to work on me about what I was saying and about what I had done. Like, I had said something that was not right. I was going completely out of line. And then at that, I wanted to show how that type of stuff and getting out of line with God is not right. And then this happened to show that I really am not in line with the things that I should be doing on a consistent basis of holding up the standard of Christ by strongly understanding that there's this expectation of me to do these things very highly, and me being who I am, I can't do that. And I don't know if it's the Lord or if it's the evil one, but I do know that me myself, I'm having these issues that I need to quiet myself. Like I sometimes I want to quiet myself. And right now, I'm like, how am I going to quiet myself when I'm in the position when the Lord had just put me where I'm supposed to be helping everybody. So I'm like, man, there's so much of the enemy I can see around me. It's not time to start being quiet. It's not time to.
Wait, hold on. But you felt convicted to be quiet. Isn't that what you just said? That you felt through this verse, you felt convicted to be quiet, but now you're saying it's not time to be quiet.
Not time to be quiet in the way of like not doing what I've been doing this, with this, Bible study that we have Friday night, with pursuing all that stuff that I'm doing. I'm helping stuff right there. I'm helping people. I'm trying to connect with these other people in these other Bible studies. You know what I'm saying? And I'm getting the word out there and stuff like that. I'm supposed to not do that now
No, I think
because I got told I said too many words with him.
all right, wait a minute. Who told you? He told you that, or that's
No,
the
God
conviction you?
told.
Okay.
Yeah, God told. I got
Well, yeah,
convicted.
but these are two different things.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we're
right?
talking about spreading the gospel on one hand, and the other hand is spreading
Going too
your
far.
whatever your feelings or
Yeah.
venting. Because you started off by saying that you felt slighted. It was personal. It was against you. And you know what? That is a tactic of the enemy. That is a trick that the enemy uses. He makes it personal when really what it could have been is just the church failed to put out the right times. The leaders of the group failed to contact people,
But I also failed to do the right thing right here. And then, you know what I'm saying? And
well, yeah,
when we look at it, I'm not doing what is right.
yeah, and that's where the conviction comes from because what that verse is saying is that your ability to control your tongue shows where you at your maturity level.
Yeah, so then I shouldn't be a teacher then. Because this is talking to the
Well, no,
teacher,
but
right?
then yeah, it is talking, but then it says that we all make mistakes. Let me bring the verse back up. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man and is able to bridle his whole body. It starts off by saying, for in many things we offend all. If you were able to not offend people, you would be perfect. And we're not. We're not. We're all going to make. He's basically saying we're all going to make mistakes. This is the standard. This is where you should be at. How can you tell if you're at that standard? By whether or not you can control your tongue, your speech. And we're all going to mess up. So he says, we're all going to mess up. Now you got to pick yourself back up and try again. So it's given us the whole pattern. Standard. What was the other one? I just said it. Oh, standard. You're gonna mess up at attaining the standard. It's in Romans 2, right? For the one about the glory of God. Do you remember? Come on, brain.
Probably.
Probably. For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Right? He says you're gonna mess up. But that doesn't change the standard. The fact that we're all gonna make mistakes doesn't change the standard that God has set. That God has grace. So you're talking about, okay, I messed up in the flesh, right? My pride, my arrogance, my anger, whatever, got the better of me. And I let the only guy who cared enough to contact me, I let him have it. I'm assuming this guy, just because he's 85 years old, I may be wrong, but I'm assuming he's been walking with the Lord for a while.
Yeah.
So he's good.
Mm-hmm.
He understands, where you're coming from, right? So that doesn't mean you don't owe him an apology. Like if you feel you've treated him incorrectly, that would be mature. Hey, the flesh got the better of me. I'm sorry. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't teach. It's you. That's the standard. You got to shoot towards it. It doesn't mean I'm gonna give up. I messed up. I'm not gonna do it. No, it means now you got to pick yourself up by the bootstrap, dust yourself off, and you go at it again, and then you're gonna fail again. God for His grace. His grace is sufficient for all these things, for our mistakes. What you do have to stop is that thing you felt convicted by.
Going way too far.
Yeah.
Ranting.
Exactly.
Yeah, ranting.
Yeah, that's a perfect word for it. The rant. That's when you've made your point, but you're still going. You're still going. Yeah, that's.
I was gonna say Philippians 3, not as though I had already attained, either were already perfect, but I follow after. If any man apprehend that for which I am also apprehended of Christ Jesus. So with that, I think that was saying that,
That's kind of what I was saying, right? Forgetting what is behind, striving towards what is ahead.
Yeah.
You got to keep going, because that again is a trick of the enemy. You messed up, give up. You're not cut out for this. Look, you messed up. Look, the standard's right here. You didn't do it. You're not cut out. No, there's grace. And I'm sure that this gentleman showed you grace.
He did.
Yeah. So if not an apology, at least a thank you.
Yeah.
Because you got something out of this. So yeah, that's what I see. I see that there's one thing that you have to stop doing, and another thing that you must persist is in. I don't want to say the spreading of the gospel, but walking in Christ.
Amen.
Yeah, we're not going to give up on that.
That's highlighting this one to me now too, that I have highlighted. Let us, again in Philippians chapter 3 verse 15, let us therefore as many as be perfect, be thus minded, and if anything ye be otherwise minded, God shall reveal even this unto you. So that's what he did. He revealed what I was out of line with unto me to get back in line with.
So yeah, I think that's what's going on. And you know what I found about the podcast? It's very therapeutic.
Oh, nice.
Because I don't know if we look back at like the first few episodes, it's basically me confessing, all the stuff, right, that I feel convicted about and stuff like that.
Oh,
I mean, this is like a confessional, right? We come and we confess our sins to one another.
And that's how we sharpen our sword.
Yeah, that's how we sharpen our sword, and we're obedient to the word. It says, confess your sins one to another.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, this is a place to come to confess. And man, well, I'm glad you did, right? You got that out. You did what the Bible says to do. You got it out publicly. And now the best thing to do is don't do it again. Go and sin no more. Well, that's a perfect segue. Perfect segue.
Wait, wrong way.
Into the next thing. You know what? Now in the edit, I'm going to have the segue going everywhere. How do you feel about those emojis?
I love them, man. I love them. They're great. They're coming in great. Oh, man. Yeah, great.
Sometimes we're talking about something serious and I'll throw in an emoji. And I feel like, man, is this right?
Well, I don't know. I like the emojis.
You like them? That's good. I was having second thoughts, but I was working on the video and Daniel was watching and he was getting a kick out of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we may be talking about something serious or we may be joking, but the emoji adds another layer to
of
it.
Attention, yeah.
It's something.
It draws attention. That's what I feel like. It makes it more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Relatable?
Relatable. That's the word, yeah. Connectable, relatable.
Okay.
Yeah, understandable.
It's
It's a bull.
It's a bull. It's working so far, but sometimes I'm thinking, man, this is serious. But maybe in those times, like I don't have to add it, but sometimes it fits so good. I like doing it. I like doing it because most of those emojis that I make, I have ChatGPT make them for me.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like shaping them. I thought you were creating them like out of nowhere. I was like, dang, how is he making some of these
No,
emojis?
I just tell ChatGPT. I could even show you some of the things. I'll say like make me which one did I make?
The robot with the thing on the top.
You know, I asked ChatGPT. I'm like, I want to represent AI as an emoji.
Yeah.
How would you represent yourself? Right? And now we're talking about like self-aware, like how do you
Yeah.
view yourself?
Yeah.
And it said that it would like to represent itself as a like a digitized brain, like a brain with circuits and connections,
Mm.
because that's kind of what it is. And I said, okay, that's good, but I need kind of like a person, not just a floating brain. I said, make a robot with that.
Floating brain.
So
It's
it
great.
made it itself as that.
Okay.
One of my favorite ones is in a few videos ago where we were talking about that the church is resembling the world.
Hmm.
And I took the church emoji that I had been using throughout the whole video, and I told ChatGPT wrap it in the globe in the world.
Okay. Yeah.
And,
So it was
and
wearing it.
yeah, we'll have to look it up. But it's the church, but you look at it and it's like the globe. I forgot where I put my globe. I don't know. I enjoy it, and now with that new AI video, now I'm adding those videos. I think
Nice.
my favorite thing was that thing you said at the end about the grandma.
Oh yeah.
Daniel was there when I was doing that. Oh man, he was getting a kick because I said, "Oh, I'm gonna animate this thing that Kyle said," and he's like, "You're not gonna animate it. You're just gonna make some emoji." Like,
Oh
oh yeah,
yeah. What's this?
yeah. Watch this. Oh man, we were cracking up. So, all right, cool. I just wanted to get a little feedback. I don't know if any of that is gonna make it into the video, but yeah, we haven't talked about that. But, we're all enjoying them. All right, so the segue, which we lost because I took it in a different direction, but I want to talk about this flat Earth. Flat Earth, flat Earth, flat Earth, flat Earth, flat Earth.